I was grocery shopping and I saw on the front of a magazine, Reboot Your Health. And, you know, obviously a diet plan to follow and instructions on what to avoid and what to eat more of and the whole thing. And it just got me realizing how twisted and complicated the whole concept of health has become. My sign says it's time to uncomplicate food, and I think we also need to uncomplicate health. Health isn't something that you reboot. It is not something that changes like this. There is nothing short of emergencies, traumas, injuries, things that really can pivot your health on a dime, right? But the average person's health is not something that you can either make or break in a moment. Health is determined by so many factors. The base of it, of this pyramid of health, if you'll roll with me on this idea, is genetics. I mean, most of what's going to happen to us with regards to diagnoses and conditions going forward are based on genetics. Not just from our parents, but we're starting to understand that this goes back generations. And those genetics are going to set the foundation, if you will, of what our health has a capacity of being. Next on this pyramid would probably be environment. And while lots of naturopaths talk about environmental medicine, they're actually talking about the air and the water and the pollutants. I'm talking about your environment. Are you safe? Do you live in a home where you are safe from other people? Emotionally, physically, are you safe? Are you safe in that you know where you're going to be sleeping? You know, the beginning of the month can be a pretty tricky time for some people in terms of, are they going to get evicted? Are they going to be able to pay their bills? Which brings me to the next tier on this pyramid, which is socioeconomic status. Has a massive impact on health outcomes. So if you're making lots of money, but you are hugely in debt, have creditors calling, and you're not sure if you're going to be able to make your next mortgage payment, that is going to influence your health, especially in the year 2020, where so many jobs were suspended or dissolved, and lots of people are relying on other people, on the government, to help them get through this time. So that kind of socioeconomic status has a massive impact on health outcomes. It also influences accessibility. As a naturopathic doctor, I am not covered by any kind of government support system. So if you don't have the affluence to afford me, or you don't have access to a healthcare plan, and let's be honest, those healthcare plans, they only cover a couple of appointments, and really we're not going to get very far with just a couple of appointments. So your socioeconomic status has a massive impact on your health. Next up, and these are fluid and where they fit, but mental health. Now, your mental health is a big determinant of your overall health outcomes. We know that people who struggle with depression and anxiety, perfectionism, even though it's not a diagnosable mental health condition, are much more likely to develop disordered eating and eating disorders. So that is also influenced by your genetics, it's influenced by the safety of your environment, it's influenced by your socioeconomic status. So your mental health is another big piece of this pyramid. And then we have that itty bitty peak, that top, that we all like to spend a ton of time talking about. And when we talk about people being in control of their health, we're talking about that tiny little peak at the top. And it's really unfortunate that we have sort of, distilled health down to what we put in our bodies and how we move our bodies. Food and fitness have taken over that little piece. And then we call that health. And furthermore, we consider that weight. It's not even the behaviors of the food and the fitness that are in there. It's like, well, how much do you weigh? Because that's the peak. So this is where it's gotten seriously messed up, and why this concept of reboot or reset just does not work. It doesn't work because our health is so much more complicated, And I guess maybe that's why we do it, right? We want to work and spend time in things that we feel like we have some control over. But where that starts to get frustrating and where people feel like their bodies are failing them is when they're doing everything that they've been told is right in that top part of the pyramid, and yet they're not getting the health outcomes that they hope for. And that health outcome could actually be a measurement of health, that maybe they have high cholesterol, maybe they have blood sugar regulations, maybe they have, I don't know, a hormonal condition like PCOS or diabetes. It could also be that they're doing all the right things and their body isn't getting smaller. And so then they feel like their body has failed them because they're doing what they're supposed to do, and we culturally have adopted this belief that we have full control over our health outcomes. And I guess I just want to give you the news that that's not true. Now, does that mean that I'm saying, F food and fitness, let it go, who cares? Well, maybe if that suits you. What I'm saying is that within that context, maybe concentrate on what you actually have control over, which is your habits and your routines and your thoughts and your mindset and your reactions to life. These are things that we can actually work on that will positively influence your health outcomes. And you can do them within a framework that understands this pyramid and all the tiers and how they're influencing you. And where your limitations are based on your genetics, based on your environment, based on your affluence, based on your mental health status. All of these things are going to influence what is reasonable, what is sensible within that pyramid. And that's the work that I do with people. That is the process that I take people through. It's to say, okay, let's get the big picture of your health and stop trying to distill it down to what it is that you're going to eat. Because so many people are in a mindset right now of, screw it, January is right around the corner. I'm just going to eat all the things and not worry about it. I'll start again in January. And that starting again is code for I'm going to lose weight. And intentional weight loss is dieting, and dieting doesn't work.